It's championship season for local sports, and here to talk all about it is Standard Speaker Sports Editor Dave Seaman. I'm SSP TV Sports Director Ken Kara. And Dave, let's start with the wrestling District 2 3A Championships. Hazleton area finishes second as a team. They have several gold medal winners. A few wrestlers finished second. And Eric Schultz, great article in the Standard Speaker over the weekend. He talked to Oscar Zamudio, who won a District 2 3A title at 120 pounds from the number 6 seed. Dave, an interesting story on him that he wrestled up at a heavier weight for most of the season and said it probably benefited him, but he didn't know. He's like, I didn't know if I was going to place. What was going to happen with this? You said he's going to be featured in the Standard Speaker this week. You got to talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, I did, and it is an amazing story. When you start as a sixth seed, that means your record's not that great coming into the tournament, really. I mean, he started 14-14, but you have to look at the fact that, like you said, he bumped up weights a few times for the benefit of the team, too. So that shows you he's a team player. And then he had to drop down to 120. He wrestled as high as 145 this season. So to drop, think about losing that much weight from wrestling against bigger athletes, bigger wrestlers. He drops down to 120. He said he did a lot of running, a lot of work in the weight room, and I asked him, what that was like. He said it was very difficult, it was very hard, and I heard his mother chiming in the background, miserable. So he said, yeah, it was pretty miserable, but he was able to do that. I said, you're the number 6 seed. You have to beat he had to beat the number 3 seed, the number 2 seed, and the number 1 seed to win a district championship, and he was up to the challenge.
In the Southeast Regionals, Danny Lawrence, he won a championship for Mono area at 195 pounds in District 11 AA. He'll be with Bronson Strauss of Tamaqua, who won at 285 pounds. Dave, Bronson Strauss played Tamaqua football. He will play football for Bloomsburg University next year. I got to talk with him at his college signing a little bit about his career. Here's what he had to say. I asked about your background, like what were you always good at in football, and you said your wrestling background really helped you.
Just with technique, I was always able to get off blocks easily. Wasn't really the strongest person, but during a football game, I was just physical machine, I guess.
Nice. And you said your dad got you into wrestling, and that you were always wrestling up a little bit.
At a young age, I started at 4, and just I was always getting beat up on in wrestling. And then one day I started beating up on the older kids, and that's how it all started.
We'll see more of that interview with Bronson soon on SSP TV News. Dave, I was watching his highlights online for his senior season, and he was on the kickoff team for Tamaqua defending. And I thought if I was returning the football and Bronson Strauss is coming at me,
throw the ball back to the sideline.
Heavyweight, I would take a knee or I'd quit football, find something else to do. So a lot of fun talking with him as he heads to Southeast Regionals. Basketball time, Dave. Hazleton area girls, they win that first game in the Districts 2, 4, 6A sub-regional playoffs. They'll play Williamsport on Friday, 6 p.m. at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Lady Cougars, they were a little cold shooting in one of their games recently, I think against Lake Lima, but they come out, and once again, Lady Cougars are on kind of a roll here.
Yeah, they came out on fire in that game. They had 6 3-pointers in the first quarter alone, scored 27 points. You score that many points, they scored almost as many points in that game in that quarter as they did the whole Lake Lehman game. And each of the 5 starters had at least 1 3-pointer. I believe Olivia Wolk had 2 of them in that quarter. And Marissa Tribal Peace had a difficult ending to the Lake Lehman game. And she vowed she was going to make amends, and she comes out, gets the first shot of the game as a 3-pointer, sets the Lady Cougars on their way, and they get to a lead like that. I've said all along, if they can make shots, that allows them to get into their pressure defense, and that's what they do best. And they force turnovers, and they force teams to panic a little bit. You get a big lead like that, and they're usually in the driver's seat for most of the game, and they were in that game. And they play that way. They could play with anybody, but as we've talked about all season, it's a matter of consistency with the Lady Cougars. They haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis, but if they do, they're a scary outfit.
I enjoy reading in the Standard Speaker, Dave, when the Lady Cougars do win, they get that press going, and it's just always mentioned in the article, Kira Antolik and her defense, and just how big. I think she had 6 points in this game, but what she's able to do on a defensive end really helps them out.
There's no doubt about it. She's one of the best athletes on the team, in the whole school, boy, girl, it doesn't matter, and she's been doing it throughout her career, no matter what sport, especially on that press. When that press is working, Kira is a very integral part of that. She does a lot for it. She deflects passes, and there's no statistic for deflected passes, but Kira Antolik deflects a lot of passes, and she doesn't really end up with the steals, but they go to teammates' hands, and they get baskets and points out of that too. So it's just like little unsung things too, and they're to be rewarded too. And well, again, she's another player too. She's a barometer. When she's playing well and she's in the middle of that press, knocking passes away, deflecting to teammates, they're getting easy points out of it. That's all better for the Lady Cougars.
I know Steve Stallone's been covering the Lady Cougars. Maybe we could get some advanced analytics, Dave, like deflected passes, win over replacement for some of these Lady Cougar players. And Dave, swimming coming up, well, the district championships this week, and you'll be covered if you're interested. Standard Speaker will have you covered this week.
Yeah, definitely. Kelly Kostaneski will be doing a preview. She gets into swimming like no other person I know.
Yeah, another good season for both the Cougars and Lady Cougars, regular season in the conference. And we'll see what they could do at districts. Make sure you're following along in the Standard Speaker and, of course, right here on SSP TV.